So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 12 of our season 3 here on F1 Manager 23. Now if you didn't watch the last episode at Silverstone, my word, go back and watch that because we nearly won it with Lando Norris. Another lap, I think we would have got Max Verstappen. Lando Norris got P2, George Russell P3 and Pierre Gasly in P4. It was a very good day at my home Grand Prix for the Andretti Cadillac team. It also meant that we moved up to second in the constructors standings. We're now 10 points in front of Ferrari and a fair few more points than that in front of Mercedes. We are only behind Red Bull, who of course are running away with it. Driver standings wise, Max Verstappen is leading the way from George Russell. Lando Norris is a clear P3 at the moment, and Pierre Gasly is now into the top 10 after that result. A quick look at the F2. There's are the drivers and the constructors, and of course in the F3 the constructors and the drivers. This weekend may be a little bit more difficult. Firstly, let me just show you the car analysis. We are developing, but we're not developing at the same rate as other teams at this moment in time. We're having a little bit of a more stagnant period. We are still very good in the high speed. In fact, we're the best at high speed cornering. We are not so good at the low and medium speed cornering. Now, let me tell you why that's important at the Hungaroring, as if you didn't already know. But at the Hungaroring, low speed and medium speed cornering is absolutely paramount. So we're going to have to get the strategy right to maximise the points here. It's not going to be our circuit, I wouldn't suggest. But we have sprung a surprise before. Apart from that, I don't think there's too much else to tell you. So I'm going to get straight into practice. And I shall see you in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Final laps in Q3. It's got to be said, in Q1 on the hard compounded tyre, it's the alternative qualifying weekend. I was really panicking. We struggled to get out of Q3, but we're Q1, sorry, but we've ended up in Q3. We look pretty racy on the medium compounded tyres. Lando Norris crosses the line, only good enough for P5. Pierre Gasly now currently in P8. Can he improve on that as he comes up to the line? DRS wide open. Gasly crosses the line. Doesn't improve by enough. It must be said I were contemplating grid penalties for Lando Norris. He's in P7. We may still do that. But Lando Norris P7, Pierre Gasly P10. If you had to guess who would top, who would you guess? Of course, Max Verstappen has topped every qualifying session. Charles Leclerc in P2 and George Russell in P3. Let's have a look at the strategy even for Sunday. Right then, guys, we are going to take some grid penalties. I've been sat looking at the screen for about 5 minutes now, but let's talk about the strategy first and foremost. The hard compound tyre, we didn't look good on it in qualifying at all. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to start on the softs, go on to the mediums, then hopefully another set of mediums. We've only got one fresh set, but we only did one run in Q2. So that second set of mediums should be okay. And we tend to be quite good on a tyre wear. We're going to do that with both cars, of course. Grid penalties wise, we have taken a new gearbox only with Lando Norris. So he's going to drop 5 positions. And Pierre Gasly, I wanted to just take a gearbox, but I'm thinking that taking another ERS is going to benefit us later on in the season as well. Possibly on circuits where we're more suited. I'd rather take the grid penalty now on a circuit that we're not. So we're going to lose a few positions here. But let's get to the starting blocks and hope that we can battle back through.
There's a fantastic atmosphere at the Hungaroring as we prepare for 70 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, this could be an important race for Pierre Gasly.
What can they manage from 18? It'll be interesting to see, that's for sure.
But just what will happen here, your guess is as good as mine. And here we go with the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's lights out. And away we go.
And away we go. Lando Norris only down to P10. So Lando Norris is in a decent position. If we have a look at the start, there's a good mix of tyres. Leclerc's on the hards. Sainz is on the hards. Verstappen on the softs. I'm guessing Verstappen is just wanting to run away with it. But Lando Norris at the moment keeping on to his P10. Just about battling with Lance Stroll. Pierre Gasly all the way at the back. He's got a lot of work to do today, Pierre Gasly, but we know Pierre Gasly can do it. So I'm not too concerned about that. Verstappen leads from Russell. It's a Red Bull 1-2 to start. Leclerc on the hard. Be interesting to see if it is a 2-stop from the Ferrari boys or if it is indeed a 1-stop. I'm hoping that the offset on the tyres, we've actually lost a position at the start to Lance Stroll. I'm hoping that the offset on the tyres, we're going to be able to sort of mech up some places during pit stops and things. So that is my hope with Norris and Gasly. But as we're on lap 1, Verstappen leads from Russell, Leclerc in P3, Sainz P4, Valtteri Bottas in P5. Had a great Saturday once again, and obviously benefited from a few grid penalties. I need to get my teeth in today. Porsche in P7, Ocon P8, Perez, Stroll, and then Norris just on the cusp of the points. Well, it's got to be said, we're having differing opening stages here. Pierre Gasly is now up past the McLaren. That's a lovely move, to be fair. Do you know, he's just a driver I just enjoy watching on this series. He's a driver that I enjoyed watching last year on the F1 Manager series we did as well. It must be said, Lando Norris not exactly coping at the moment. We're just taking it a little bit easier on the tyres in this first couple of laps, which is not something we currently normally do. Gasly is just settling in. He needs to get back up to De Vries pretty sharpish, to be fair, does Pierre Gasly. We're going to push him on a bit. Lando Norris, 0.6 of a second behind Giovinazzi. This is like at the start of Season 1. This race at the moment, but Lando Norris in P12. I'm not too concerned at the moment. He's going to come to us this. But Verstappen running away with it with George Russell. Leclerc has lost sight of the Red Bulls. Lap 6, Pierre Gasly starting to make some moves in P17. He's past Nick De Vries in the Alfa Romeo Haas. Beautiful work. And that's it. Double helping of DRS, of course. So fair play to Pierre Gasly. He's now back up into P17, I believe that is. No, P16. And he's now going to start chasing after Kevin Magnussen. We've just been harvesting the DRS as well with Pierre Gasly. We're looking after the tyres on both cars. As you can see, we've got the best tyres on the grid. It's a very tyre-heavy circuit, this. And I fancy us, if we take care of the tyres, it might be a bit more slowly catchy-bunky today. But I think we can do it. Lando Norris has been sat behind Giovinazzi for quite a while now. I quite like him to start making some moves in the next few laps. We'll come back on lap 10. Verstappen, he's making this look very easy. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix and 2.2 seconds gap to Russell. Early safety car at the Hungaroring. Discussions have been going on the pit wall. I'll bring you to those in a moment, but let's have a look at Yuki Tsunoda in the Hugo Boss. Smashing. We were so fortunate there with Pierre Gasly. Yuki Tsunoda summing it up rather nicely there on the radio. I mean, the best dressed team in F1. Very not happy. She's not happy that the camera's on her either. But there we go. Not happy at all in the Hugo Boss. We are going to take this opportunity to pit under the safety car. 3 pit stops, so I think it's worth doing. Reason behind, at this moment in time, if we switch onto the hard compounder tyre, we can then go onto the mediums towards the end and we'll get a cheap pit stop. So I reckon it's time to roll the dice here for both cars. That's the idea. I'll come back when we're back to the pits. And it's going to be a very, very busy pit lane because everybody is coming in for the hard compounder tyre, including us. We're double stacking as well. Let's hope. We need a very good couple of pit stops from our guys here. In fact, the whole grid is in for pit stops. This is a crazy pit lane in this episode. Come on, guys. You've got to get this right. Do we get it right? Lando Norris has held. Does get away. Look at the state of this pit lane. Every car on the grid has pit during this safety car, so we're not going to gain any advantage. Lando Norris actually gained a position or 2, as has Pierre Gasly, so we've come out of that okay. Giovinazzi had a pit stop issue. I don't think I've ever seen that. Every single car came in for a pit stop on lap 10, and I'm assuming most have come onto the hard compounder tyres, which they have. My word, what a moment that was. We'll come back when we're back to green flag running. 3-lap safety car, and on lap 13 we are going back to green flag running, and it is Carlos Sainz leading the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz obviously leaving Ferrari in real life now from the 2025 season, but Carlos Sainz leads us away from Max Verstappen. Bottas is in P4 in the Audi. Lando Norris straight away having a look at Porsche and Perez, and my word, did that Aston Martin nearly come into the back of him. But his teammate Pierre Gasly, he's looking to make moves and get past this Aston Martin. Let's ride on board with Pierre Gasly because he fancies a pop at Lance Stroll round the outside. Can't quite get the job done, but we are going to have a look at Pierre Gasly making an overtake from the restart. Decided to chuck it down the inside, as did the Aston Martin, but Pierre Gasly nearly got a double overtake there. My word. Ladies and gents, let me know down in the comments of our 2 drivers, which one is your favourite, Gasly or Lando Norris? Please let me know, because I've got to say, although Lando's doing better in the championship, Pierre Gasly doesn't half provide some entertainment in these episodes, and at the moment he's now looking at the back of the Aston Martin. And we've got Lando Norris looking right at the back of Porsche, I believe that was. I don't quite know what happened with Porsche there. He looked to have gone to the inside and be parked off the racing line. But Lando Norris got the job done. I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of that, which we are going to do. Let's just have a look at this. Because Lando Norris going into the chicane, let's have a look. Where is Porsche? Porsche's sort of on the outside, but Lando Norris opportunistic. You wouldn't even say that was a place to overtake, really, especially in that fashion. But Lando Norris now up into P9, and he's got Checo Perez in front of him, and meanwhile Pierre Gasly looking particularly strong in P12. Double points is on today. Are we all rooting for Bottas to win it? Lando Norris is starting to do Lando Norris things. He's got Checo Perez, and then he got Alexander Albon in a Aston Martin, and he thought, I'm having a bit of that. Lando Norris past the Aston Martin, beautifully done. And he's now up into, I believe that's P7. Let me just check if that's P7. It certainly is. P7 for Lando Norris. He's now got Ocon in front of him and Bottas, then Sainz. I mean, a podium is certainly on today for Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly not quite making his way through at the rate of knots. He did struggle a little bit on these hard compound tyres in qualifying. But I'm guessing he will have known that he had to go onto him. It was the only strategy call we had, as it was proven with the rest of the grid going onto the hard compound tyres mainly. So Norris now up into P7. He's got a chance of P4 today. Pierre Gasly will get some points, I would imagine. The next pit stop's going to be key, but Pierre Gasly's all over the back of this Aston Martin. As we ride on board in the helmet cam, you can see there's a little bit of frustration at this moment with Pierre Gasly, because he feels now that this Aston Martin is holding him up a little bit. And as we come into this left-hander, I would suggest he's going to be looking to get past Lance Stroll pretty quickly. We are dropping Magnussen in P13, but he's got to get past Stroll. Let's have a look. Can he do it here? We are going to ride on board with Pierre Gasly. This Aston Martin has got that DRS wide open. I would assume that Gasly will get past. It might just be a case of a couple more laps. Patience is necessary. And Lando Norris is having a right battle himself. He fancies attacking Ocon. And is he going to get him here? No, he isn't. Lap 19, Russell leads from Leclerc. Verstappen is now 3 seconds off the lead. Lando Norris has got Carlos Sainz up into P6, got him into the final corner, to be fair, and a lovely point to get him as well, because then he got the DRS, and now he's chasing after his mate up the road, Esteban Ocon. That Mercedes didn't get any DRS. Lando Norris is going to push on now to try and get in the DRS of Esteban Ocon. We are burning through our tyres a little bit more than a couple of our competitors, which I am aware of. But towards the end, I think that'll be okay. So Pierre Gasly still P12. Norris now in P6 and chasing Ocon. Interesting moment from Pierre Gasly. He seems to have run out of pace a little bit. Magnussen's now got him with DRS. They've been exchanging DRS for a little while now, has Gasly and Magnussen. We just told him to calm down on his tyres a bit. He's not enjoying these hard compound tyres. One man who is a little bit, though, is Lando Norris, and I'm sure we are going to get a replay of this very shortly as well, because Lando Norris has just got Valtteri Bottas, and he's now up in to P5. Let's just have a quick look at this one. This is a big moment, because with the DRS wide open, we were rooting for Bottas earlier on in the Grand Prix. Now we're rooting for Lando. Lovely work from him. DRS wide open. And now he's got another Mercedes in front of him of Esteban Ocon. So lovely work from him. Pierre Gasly, I'm a little bit concerned whether he's made a mistake. He didn't look like he did. But he's lost 2.1 seconds to Lance Stroll. We're going to start attacking on the tyres again to see if we can catch back up to this gaggle of cars in front. But lap 23, Russell still leading. Gap to Leclerc, 3 seconds. Verstappen, he's been held up. Let's just look from Verstappen's point of view, because he's been held up massively behind this Ferrari at this moment in time, and it's costing him time to his teammate. And Lando Norris again. I mean, it's just a Lando Norris show at the moment now. Lando Norris gets past Esteban Ocon. That is for P4. Great work from Lando, and as you can see, it looks like Verstappen's just got past Leclerc, but I would suggest we could catch Leclerc. Lando Norris is going to be giving it absolutely everything here. Ricciardo in the Hugo Boss spinning into, is that turn 2, I think it was? Yeah, Daniel Ricciardo spinning out. These Hugo Boss cars, dear me, don't quite have it. Or the Visa catch-up, what they're going to be in real life next season. But yeah, Lando Norris has had the pace on Ocon and now can start closing in on Leclerc. Gasly's now back up with Lance Stroll, so fair play to him. He's now back in contention. But yeah, it's looking tough for Pierre Gasly. We've got to get the next pit stop right, I would suggest, with Pierre, to try and get a little bit of an undercut on these guys. We're just going to start topping up a little bit of ERS as well. And Norris, I just think he's quicker than Ocon. It's DRS that's going to drag Ocon along. Interesting. Carlos Sainz on lap 29 has just come in for a pit stop. We're going to keep an eye on this, but I need to wax lyrical about Lando Norris in a moment as well, but we'll do that very shortly, because Lando Norris has just done some amazing work to get back up to Verstappen and Leclerc. It's a decent stop onto mediums. Can the mediums go to the end from here? I'd be very interested. We've got a crash on circuit as well, which I'm hoping doesn't involve one of our cars. Sorry, we've got Perez and Bottas. Oh, it's a little love tap, maybe. Not too much. I mean, Perez just stopped in that Ferrari. But yeah, not good at all from Checo Perez. Yeah, waxing lyrical about Lando Norris because he had a 3-second gap to Leclerc to close down. He's closed it down within around 3 or 4 laps. We had a little bit of a push to drop Ocon. He's now in contention for a podium, is Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly's 1.6 seconds back from Théo Pourchaire. I'm pushing him along. I'm wondering if Sainz is going for a free stop, which may be an option, but Lando Norris is giving everything he possibly can to stay in touch with Verstappen and Leclerc. Lap 32, this is possibly one of the most interesting races to manage we've ever done. Lando Norris has caught Charles Leclerc. Verstappen's gone a little bit up the road now, it must be said, but Lando Norris has now passed Charles Leclerc. As things stand, Lando Norris is on a podium. Now, I say it's one of the most interesting races because there's a few cars that are trying 3-stop strategies. There's a few cars that's trying 2-stop strategies. I don't know. I mean, Danny Ricciardo's pitting now. Carlos Sainz, who went onto the medium, I would suggest that's a 3-stop. There's a couple of others as well. I think Giovinazzi. He's on soft, so he's trying a 3-stop as well. According to our data, there is only 1 second difference. I think we had a look on Pierre Gasly's. There's only 1 second difference between the 2 and the 3-stop. So, I mean, everything's happening here today. Pierre Gasly's still trying to push on. We're just calming down on the tyres now with Lando Norris. And I'd like to also get a little bit of ERS charged up as well with Lando. But we're sticking to the 2-stop. We're going on to the mediums towards the end. Of course, safety cars as well will play a point in this. Gasly's now closing back up towards Pourchaire. So, halfway through this race, anything can happen here. Perez is now coming in for the Ferrari guys. I reckon the 2-stop's the way to go. I must admit, I do. There's a lot of cars trying the 3-stops here. Unless he reckons those mediums can do half a race, which I'm not convinced they can. I mean, if we were to pit now, towards the end, just let's have a look with Lando Norris. If we were to pit now, I think that's a stretch. Don't you? So we're going to leave it as is. We're pretty okay with where we are. We'll either get it right or we'll either get it wrong. We'll see what we do. Lap 35, Charles Leclerc is in for soft compound tyres, is Charles Leclerc. Now, again, interesting. Is this going to work? Softs, then mediums, I would presume? The softs can't go to the end. We're also thinking if we stop out for a safety car here, another safety car would mean that we get an advantage on these guys. We're basically copying the Red Bulls at this moment in time, but Norris is now in his own little race. His tyres aren't the best, but he's managing everything pretty efficiently. Gasly's up to P9. He can probably do his teammate a favour by holding up the Ferraris behind. Anything can happen. Lap 37, we are seeing George Russell into the pits for a set of soft compound tyres. Will they go to the end? It's not a good stop from the Red Bull guys even. Will they go to the end? We shall have to see. My data says it doesn't. I think we're going to get this right here. I could be proved completely wrong. Gasly's now got Leclerc on the back of him. And it must be said, Pierre Gasly is going to be told that you always defend. We need to defend from this Ferrari. He's also got George Russell behind him. Gasly's got to do a job for the team here. Good work. Whereas Lando Norris now, 4 seconds to Verstappen. It's got a little bit of gearbox wear. Engine wear as Lando Norris, but it's only minor at the moment. He's managing it efficiently. God, this is tense. Charles Leclerc has got Pierre Gasly. He's on the soft compound tyre, and it is job done for Charles Leclerc. Fantastic work from him around the outside. Gasly was defending as much as he possibly could, and now he's got George Russell behind him as well. I think once George Russell gets past, then that's when we've got to seriously look at it. But we're not really in a fight with these guys, with George Russell, with Pierre Gasly, sorry. The person we're in a fight with at the moment, Lando Norris, who started to close up a little bit on Verstappen, but we are aware we've got to pit onto these medium compound tyres pretty shortly. We've got a crash on circuit. Let's have a little look. It's Giovinazzi, I believe that's Lance Stroll as well, both on the soft compounder tyre. These guys have took each other out. Not caused a safety car, unfortunately, because that would have played beautifully into our hands. If we'd have got a safety car, we would have been laughing. We are now considering we're going to be pitting Lando Norris in the next couple of laps. And Pierre Gasly probably needs to get off these tyres pretty quickly as well. Lap 39, couple more laps, and then we're going to be having pit stops. Lap 41, we've pulled the trigger with Pierre Gasly. Into the pits he comes. Lando Norris will probably be pitting on this coming lap as well. 21 seconds normally is the gap for a pit stop. We could get out in front of Sainz with Norris is what I'm thinking. But Pierre Gasly is in for his sets of medium compound tyres. Is he going to be a good stop from the guys? He doesn't look bad at all. 2.9 seconds. Now I'm expecting to get out, be either in front or behind Kevin Magnussen. I'd like to get out in front if I possibly can. But I don't believe we're going to. Where is Kevin Magnussen? And we're also going to come out behind Zhou Guanyu as well. So Pierre Gasly out into P14. No more stops for him. Lando Norris is going to be coming in this lap. And in comes Lando Norris for his pit stop as well. We've got both our guys in now. Then hopefully we can run to the end quite smoothly. Where this is going to leave us, I'm not too sure. I know Russell's obviously got to pit again. Russell's setting some fastest laps, it must be said, on those tyres. Oh, and that's what we didn't need. It's not the worst. It is the worst. 6-second pit stop. That could have killed Lando's race. He's got to be fuming in the cockpit at this moment in time because that has not helped us at all. We would have got out possibly in front of Sainz and Albon. We're out in front of Mick Schumacher. Lando's going to be fuming. I'm fuming. We don't normally have to do that many pit stops in a weekend. We have had this weekend and it's cost us. Pierre Gasly now starting to make moves past Kevin Magnussen. We can see Porsche there coming out of the pits as well. Up into P13. We're going to have a lot of cars pitting in front of us yet. So there's a long way to go here. Pierre Gasly, it's lovely work from him. Lando Norris has just caught up to the back of Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz on very used medium tyres. We are going to tell Lando Norris to be aggressive on the overtaking. I want him to make moves. Ocon's tyres are dead, as are Bottas's. Verstappen's are as well. We are trying to make hay while the sun shines here while not killing the tyres. It's a very delicate race, this one. Pierre Gasly now, 2.2 seconds to Zhou Guanyu. He's going to be told to deploy and catch up to them. And Lando Norris has got Carlos Sainz as well. DRS wide open. We can see a couple of people pitting as well. I think that's Ocon in the pits. Lando Norris now up to P8, I believe that is, on track at this moment in time. Let's just double check that. He's actually up to P7 because Ocon's pit, of course. He's 2.8 seconds behind Albon, who is on the hard compounder tyre. Bottas, Leclerc, Russell, and they've all got to pit again. And Max Verstappen is pitting now. Now this could be incredibly crucial. This may show just how poor that pit stop were from our guys. Where is Lando Norris on track? He's just coming up to the final couple of corners. Of course, you would expect a decent stop from the Red Bull guys. And do they ever get it wrong? Absolutely not. Bottas is in the pits as well. Lando Norris now coming around the final corner. Bottas trundling down the pit lane. We can see Albon. Now Lando Norris. Now let's have a look. Where is Verstappen? He's trundling out of the pit lane now. Lando Norris can probably just about see him, to be fair. He can on the right-hand side. Lando Norris is not that far behind Max Verstappen. We are going to push on now. Try and catch up to these guys while their tyres are cold. And then hopefully, you never know. We've still got Leclerc and Perez and Russell to pit. And Gasly is trying to negotiate traffic. Norris has Albon. Lovely work. Up past the Aston Martin. Albon on the hard compound tyre. Lando on the mediums. I am aware that we have got to make these mediums last as well. So that's something that we're just keeping in mind at this moment in time. We've been pushing to catch up and get past Albon. But Lando Norris now 3 seconds to Verstappen. But we have closed the gap on these guys at the front massively now, us and Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly up into P10. He's just managed to get past Mick Schumacher. And he's now going to be looking to chase after Zhou Guanyu in front. We're just going to give Pierre Gasly a little bit of a hurry up. But we'll have a look at the overtake as well on Schumacher. It's been a very enjoyable Grand Prix. To say we're fighting in different areas of the grid at this moment in time. It's been a very enjoyable Grand Prix so far. I hope you're enjoying it at home. But Pierre Gasly up into the points once again. And he's going to be looking at Zhou Guanyu very shortly. Lap 51, Charles Leclerc has pit. He's onto another set of soft compound tyres. He's got another fresh set of soft compound tyres as Charles Leclerc. Now, that's maybe something we didn't have. As we can see, Pierre Gasly attacking Zhou Guanyu. Can't quite get past him at this moment in time. Zhou on the used soft compound tyres. Pierre Gasly will be looking to get past this Williams and try and keep on the coattails of the Ferrari. Lando Norris 2.8 seconds back from Perez. Can't quite catch him at this moment in time. Verstappen is making hay. Verstappen looks like he's going to win it, but we have dropped Alexander Albon. So Norris, 71% tyres now. We've got to start looking after these. And on lap 52, Pierre Gasly has finally got past Zhou Guanyu. DRS wide open, round the outside in turn 1. Great work from him. He's not actually that far behind the Ferrari in front of him. So Pierre Gasly still looking racy. And now a few more pit stops have happened. It does find himself in P8. And I think everybody now is going to the end. So Gasly will have to do a job now, just maintaining this position. It's good points for him. The man we're looking at is Lando Norris, who has caught Checo Perez. And now we'll get the DRS helping, which is going to help him along very nicely indeed. Lap 53. And we expected it to happen very quickly, and it certainly has. Lando Norris has got Checo Perez and now finds himself P2 on circuit. Double helping of DRS. Great work from him, and that will do very, very nicely indeed. Up into P2. He's nearly dropped him already. 5 seconds behind to Verstappen, but he's got a charging George Russell in P6 that we're hoping is going to get held up a little bit, and we need to start conserving tyres. There's a lot we need to do to manage this race. Pierre Gasly, it looks like he's got P8 pretty much sewn up. Carlos Sainz is the real threat, but 16 laps to go. And on lap 57, George Russell's strategy call is looking absolutely spot on. The Red Bulls split their strategy today. I thought we could stick with Verstappen. Probably the minor engine wear not helping us either, but George Russell's just got past Lando Norris and he's up into P2. Now the crucial thing is, can we hold on to the DRS of George Russell and try and let that pull us away from Esteban Ocon? That is the plan, at least. We've also got Charles Leclerc on soft compound tyres chasing up behind us as well. We could be in a real battle for this podium, but we've got to try and stick with George Russell. And really, can I see us doing it? If I'm honest, I can't. We may fall out of the podium here. Lap 57. And on lap 58, Charles Leclerc on the soft compound tyre has got past him as well. He's now up into P3. It must be said that 6-second pit stop has not helped us here, because that would have just given us a little bit more breathing space. We wouldn't have to have done as much overtaking and pushed the tyres quite as hard as we had to. If we have a look, we've now got a 2.4 second gap to Ocon. We should get P4 with Lando now. I'm even going to start going a little bit lighter on the tyres with Lando. I'm already doing that with Pierre Gasly, just ensuring that we're going to have a nice bit of tyre left towards the end of this Grand Prix. But Leclerc, Russell and Verstappen look like they've got this sewn up. Of course, a crash or safety car could change everything. I actually fancy Russell to win this. Lap 58. Lap 66, and it must be said, it's going to be an interesting end, because Esteban Ocon has got the better tyres and he's caught Lando Norris, and this is looking a little bit ominous now, because with the engine wear he's having to manage, he's having to conserve a little bit on fuel. There's a lot going on for Lando Norris at this moment. P5 is the minimum I would suggest we're going to get, but P4 we are under a little bit of pressure now from Esteban Ocon. I was hoping that the soft compound tyres might die off in front of us, but it must be said this has been very hard wearing on our tyres this weekend. We've not dealt with it brilliantly. And Lando Norris now, we're just going to calm him down on everything. We're charging up a little bit on the battery, because I'm not too fussed if Esteban Ocon gets past him. I reckon we will get P4, but it's going to be a battle to the end. Pierre Gasly has also fell into the clutches of Théo Pourchaire, whose tyres now must be dead and buried. So I think we're going to try and maybe just help him along a little bit to help us defend from Carlos Sainz. But again, we need to make sure that our tyres don't die. It's all about tyre wear, as we see the Mercedes of Esteban Ocon get past Lando Norris into turn 1 and get that double helping of DRS. Lando Norris has got a battle for P4. Last lap of the Grand Prix, Verstappen and Russell, the two Red Bulls going at it here at the Hungaroring. Verstappen has the medium compounded tyre. Russell, I would suggest, has the better tyre, the soft one, and with less wear. They're battling. Leclerc's in P3. Ocon has done just enough to keep Lando Norris out of DRS range. Lando Norris He's just having to nurse this home at the moment. Pierre Gasly needs to ensure that he doesn't run out of fuel as well. Perez in P6. Gasly now just conserving on the fuel. He'll get that back. We will get to the end. But my word, Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon's tyres are absolutely dead and buried. I mean, there's an argument to say that he may even get him up to the line here, Lando Norris. We're going to push to see if we can get anywhere near Esteban Ocon towards the end of this Grand Prix. But Verstappen and Russell coming around the final corner. Verstappen's doing just enough to hold him off, but Verstappen has the DRS. Who is going to get this? It is Verstappen from Russell, and now Lando Norris. It's not a great run down to the line here. Gasly's conserved enough fuel, but he's now got Carlos Sainz on his back. We are going to defend from him. Lando Norris, can he possibly get him up to the line? That little helping of DRS. Ooh, on Lando Norris. Can he get him? Ocon gets a decent exit. I don't think we're going to have enough. We're not. It's P5 for Lando. Pierre Gasly, though, now has got to defend this one last bit from Carlos Sainz in P8. Is he going to manage to do it? Pierre Gasly round the final corner, jinking left and right, and that is a decent bit of work from Pierre Gasly. Oh my word. What a race that has been. I mean, just think about it for a second. If we look at the pit stops, Verstappen did the same strategy as us. He won. Lando Norris, that extra pit stop, we would have been... Well, we certainly would have got Ocon. We would have been a distance from Leclerc, but maybe we could have stayed with him a little bit longer. Who knows? But let's get to the podium.
What a remarkable drive by Lando Norris today.
There wasn't too much expectation on them today, but they fought hard and found themselves in the points.
We may see these kind of scenes a lot in Formula One, but it's easy to forget just what it means to the whole team. And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
That's their 9th win of the season. I expect them to be showered with plaudits and more.
And as far as those three are concerned, well, they'll be leaving Budapest hungry for more.
Hungry for more indeed. It was a very decent race for us in fairness. Of course, we took grid penalties with both cars as well, so something to be aware of. But Max Verstappen won from Russell. Leclerc, we saw Ocon in P4. We had a good battle with him. Lando Norris in P5. Gasly gaining 10 places up into P8. That's a great drive, and it's a great drive from Lando Norris. It's not easy to overtake at the Hungaroring, and we've certainly showed that it could be done today. And a good mix of 2- and 3-stop strategies, even a 4-stop for Lance Stroll. Driver standings-wise, Max Verstappen is now 88 points in front of George Russell. Lando Norris is still in P3, gaining 10 points. He's done very well there today on 146 points now. Pierre Gasly gains 4. He's only 13 points behind Lance Stroll. I think we can get Pierre Gasly a little bit further up this season. Constructors-wise, Red Bull, as we know, leading the way. We maintain P2 by a single point from Ferrari. I hope you've enjoyed that one. It does leave you hungry for more. And next up, it is a spa day in Belgium. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra!